back everybody. I unfortunately still no paint. We did get some paint, but it turned out to be wrong. They made a bit of a boo-boo at the suppliers. I'll show you what they sent me. We got some nice top coat, which is great. It's not what we actually ordered. Check with the colour. The colour's good. It's definitely a red with a bit of orange to it. But unfortunately they've sent top coat instead of base coat. They did send me the clear to go over the base coat, but somehow somebody has made a mess up and sent me the top coat instead. The car hasn't changed. It's all just waiting to get colour on it, rub it down again and get colour on it. All the panels are all good. And I've actually got so bored that I got the dress rooms out and put a bit of metal polish over those and they come up like brand new. It's stainless finish. It's quite good. So until we get some red paint, we can't show you any more. There's not very much happening. I'll be back when I've got more. See ya. Hi guys, back again. This will be the start of 12 and I'm just filling in time until I get the right paint. So I've just been pulling all the glass apart. When you get the Respair's rubber kit, it comes with a runner on the bottom and the rubber down the side where the front door seals on it. It all comes apart. It all comes apart fairly easily. This is the left-hand side that I haven't done yet. The only thing that I've noticed with these to watch is that these runners seem to get a bit of wear on them. But once you get it all apart and get the rubber out of here, I notice that they're all held in by the bolt, but even though it's got a bit of wear on one side of it, if you put that back in and turn it 90 degrees, that'll be fine. So I'm not going to worry about replacing the runners because they're quite alright, but you can see a little bit of distortion in them where they rub on the channels up and down. So I'm just going to finish building this one, then I'll pull it apart and clean it, and that'll be a few more things done. There's the old rubber that I pulled out, and there's the new one to go in. And they actually supply some silicone in the kit. Now I have a feeling it might be to run a bit of silicone around this area here, so that when you slide it back up to the channel, it will slide in easily. So it's the next little job, and that shouldn't take too long, and that way your rubbers are all clean and tidy when the window goes up and you see them, and it should seal properly. That'll do for now. Okay, they're in. Just a word of warning for anybody that's doing them. These seals to get back into that track, don't be skimpy with the silicone. Put plenty on the stainless steel and plenty on the rubber on both surfaces, because you can get them about halfway and then it's a real push to get to the top. It takes a real shove to get it in there, but they're all good. The stainless come up alright just with a bit of metal polish, and the rubbers in there are all fine. So that's the two rear windows all done, ready to stick in the car, which I believe are a bit of fun and games to put them in, but we'll see what happens. I'll be back when I got something else to show you. I've just finished the rear windows, and I thought to myself I might as well do the front. Initially I saw the rubber in these frames and I thought, oh, that's going to be a little bit dicey. But then I had a look online and there was somebody that was actually showing you how to do it online. And it turns out it's not that bad. That's one that's just been finished. And I've got another one here apart. I've got this one all ready to go, all cleaned up. And once you get the rubber off there, it's quite an easy task to clean it up and put the other one back on. However, a little bit difficult getting the old one off the rubber. What I ended up doing was holding that section of the frame in the vise and just grabbing hold of the glass here and just pushing it backwards and forwards like this until, and with a bit of upward pressure, it eventually comes out. But that was probably the worst part of the job, getting the old glass out with the rubber intact. Getting the new one back in wasn't quite as bad with the first one. So here's hoping that this one will be just as good. There's your new rubber. That's the outside of the glass. So the bigger section, bigger section goes on the outside. And all you have to do is just put it central, because later on you'll trim a piece of this rubber off that sticks out the side of the frame. So we'll just stick that on there and make sure it's all the way down, which it is. You got your rubber pretty well equal both sides, so that'll be right. And the trick is to make sure you get the right way around. And I know that because the one I put on the other side, I put the rubber on the wrong way around and had to pull it off again. So that was lots of practice. So when that goes on, the frame itself will go central on the rubber, and then you can just trim the ends off that's outside the frame, and that'll leave enough room for your channel, your Bailey channel to slide up and down. So the trick to these things is lubricate the rubber before you put it on. So window cleaner was what was suggested to use, and it seemed to work all right the first one, so we're going to do it again. Make sure you get it the right way around. Sit it in place, and the rubber sits about 3 or 4 mil out either side of the frame. You get your rollers outside the window, that to the square part of the glass, and that should be right. Now with your rubber mallet, start it off. Once it's down to the rubber, that's it, keep going, because there's a tiny gap there for the bottom, and you've got to actually leave it like that. And that's it, it's in. Just going to trim the rubber, and that's done, and that edge is nice and clean again. So what was a daunting task turned out to be not too bad once you've shown how to do it. And that's it. We'll show you when we've got some more. Well, we're back here again. In the middle of COVID, did get some paint. I've got the right paint, so I've been doing a little bit of painting and little bits and pieces that I can find in the back shed that need a bit of doing. So I'll show you what I've been doing. That's the first one. I've stripped this apart, replated all the bits and pieces. I put a just an acrylic satiny sort of a finish on that, just to seal off that fiberglass stuff. That's all been done. I've got all new foam inside. The radiator inside's all in fairly good nick. The motor I pulled apart and tied everything up inside and re-greased the bearings and got it running, and it's a hell of a lot quieter than it was because it was quite a noisy unit when it was in the car, but now it runs nice and quiet. All nuts and bolts and screws and things are all been replated, so it's all going to look okay. The only thing I didn't replate was the bottom of that motor. I didn't want to destroy any of the windings or anything else inside, so I decided to leave it and just cleaned it up. The colour's here now. So that's the colour. I guess you call it a reddy orangey sort of a colour, which is pretty correct because I've got lots of photos of the car when it was original. I've done the inside of the bonnet, and that is a base with a clear over, and it's quite easy to do it when you got inside like this because any minor defects or whatever, it doesn't really matter quite so much because it's all underneath the car and you don't see it. I've done the boot as well on the inside, so that when I eventually get the whole car up to the spray booth, I'll just have to sit them one way and won't have to sort of spin them over to do it, so that just saves a bit of work on the day when I'm doing the whole job. Done nothing else with the guards and the doors. I've only just cleaned them up with 800 and then scotched them, so that's all done. The car's the same. That's all been done with 800 and then the grey scotch after that. I ended up doing the inside of the car because I'm going to mask the car up completely so there's nothing inside, so that's all been done. I've actually redone the floor again. I've put a second coat of that KBS stuff on the floor, so that's in nice condition now. And as well as that, we've got the back parcel tray. I've just put in that black KBS as well. Not that it really matters, but it's just a bit of a tidy up. So now it's just a matter of waiting until we can get up to the spray booth. So I'm not sure how long that's going to be, but there's a good indication of the colour that it will be anyway. It's definitely a reddy orangey sort of a colour. So that's rally red. Okay, so everything else is all cleaned up and waiting, and there's actually really nothing more I can do. The motor's ready to go, the gearbox is ready to go, the diff's done, tail shafts are reconditioned, and all the dash has been done. The next thing will be when it's painted. I'll put it together and then we'll get it to the trimmers so we can do some new carpet and the seats and the head lining. Okay, I'll get back to you when I've got some more done, which I'm not sure when that will be. See ya.